Guys, our eggs have been boiling now for about 15 minutes. So what we're going to do is we're going to take them off the stove. We're going to bring them over to the sink. And we are going to run some cold water on them. Now, we can drain the hot water off. There wasn't a lot of hot water left in there, and so that's why I chose to go ahead and start running the cold water on them. So we want to bring the temperature down on them a little bit because we don't want them to continue to cook. And then what we're going to do is we're going to just bang them up on the side of the sink here so that we can easily peel them. Okay, so that one's already been peeled. And we're just going to continue that process. And again, I'm only making a few or 6 deviled eggs. I don't have, a lot of guests or anything like that coming over. In fact, I don't have any guests coming over. So I am just making a few of them. Deviled eggs are one of those nice little treats that while you may not want a lot to eat, it'll be a nice hors d'oeuvre, or you can use it as a side dish to your entree if that's what you'd like to do. That's what I'm going to do. But then sometimes I just like to snack on them too. So there's a lot of versatility in using deviled eggs or making deviled eggs. Or how you choose to use them, I should say. Okay, so that's the last one that needs to be, or that needed to be peeled. You want to make sure that once you peel them that you do give them a once over, just to make sure that you have removed all the shell, because the last thing you want is to have eggshells in your deviled eggs. Not a fun time. I speak from experience. So what we're going to do, I've taken the liberty of taking an onion, and I wanted to go ahead and chop up or dice up our onions so that once we start to prepare our deviled eggs, we don't have to stop and cut up onions. So what we need to do is, or what we're going to do is, we're going to take each egg, cut it in half. Guys, this is so easy, tasty, and simple. And I tell you, if you follow this recipe, your deviled eggs are going to be a hit at any gathering. Okay. And like I said, I'm only making a few of them. So I took 6 eggs. And so when I cut them in half, of course, we have 12 deviled eggs. Okay, so what we're going to do is the yolk that's inside the each egg, we're just going to pull it out. Don't you think this plate is so cute? So, of course, it is Christmas Eve, and I picked this plate up for 75 cents at Family Dollar. And it's a sturdy little thing, too. Okay, so we're going to take the yolk and just place it in our plate. You can use a plate, you can use a bowl, whatever you have handy. What's the theme? Use what you have. Okay. The theme of our videos, that is, or our recipes, is don't want you to go out and spend a bunch of money buying all kinds of stuff that you see me use, because I also use what I have. So, okay. So we are just getting the yolk out. You know what I'm going to do? I'm going to put that over to the side so you hopefully can have a better view of what I'm doing. That yolk just pops right out. And guys, you can make these ahead of time. I typically like mine to be room temperature, or maybe a little slightly colder than room temperature, but I don't like them super cold. You can serve them however you like. I have prepared them for folks that like them hot. I've prepared them for people that like them deep fried. So you can do all kinds of stuff with those, with your deviled eggs. Now, what we're going to do next is we're going to just mash these yolks up, and get them ready for the other ingredients, and then ultimately get them ready to fill the halves of the egg white. So, okay. And guys, as always, I'm going to put the ingredient list on the description box for you. And so what we're going to do now is, like I said, we've diced up some onion. If you don't like onion, you don't have to use any. I like onion, and so I am putting some onion in here. So the next thing that we're going to add, now don't be messy like me. You see, I'm throwing yolk everywhere. But since it went in the sink, obviously we can't use it now. So we are going to grab, I have some whipped dressing, and whipped dressing is Miracle Whip, if you want to go by a brand name. Miracle Whip. I like to use Miracle Whip for this, or whipped topping, because it's just a little bit sweeter than regular mayo. If you want to use mayo, don't hesitate to use what you have. Okay, so we're going to just put a little bit in there and start to mix it up. I would rather start with a little less than what we need, because we can always build it up. Kind of like putting on makeup, right? You can build it up, but once you put too much in there as it relates to these deviled eggs, it's a little harder to fix. You can fix it, and how you would fix it is just by boiling some more eggs and adding the yolk in there. But we're just gonna start slow. Now I've seen some people make deviled eggs by putting this in the food processor. I have a food processor, but I don't think that's necessary. I've never used the food processor for this. But if you have a food processor and you want to use your food processor to create the filling for your deviled eggs, have some fun. Do what you like. Okay. So that is enough whipped topping for me. Keep in mind, we also are going to be adding a dash of mustard to this. We're also going to be adding some sweet relish to this, and both of which have fluid in them, and so we don't want to go crazy with our fluids. Like I said, it's easier to add to it, but it's a little more work to have to fix it if you add too much. Okay, so we're going to put a little bit of mustard in here, and by a little bit, I do mean a little bit. Don't worry, I'm going to tell you exactly how much I use of everything, okay? Don't you hate when you're looking at recipes and folks are adding all kinds of stuff, but they're not telling you how much they're adding? And so if you wanted to follow their recipe, you don't know what to put in it. So we're not doing that here at Southern Girl Cooks or on Southern Girl Cooks. Okay, so we've got a little bit of sweet relish. I was at Kroger last night shopping, and so I picked up Kroger brand sweet relish, but you can use whatever you have. Walmart brand, Vlasic, some other ones. What's the other one? Mount somebody. Who is the other one? Mount Olive. If you want to use that, use what you have. Okay. I'll tell you another thing or a secret. If you use too much of something and you feel like your filling is a little bit runny and maybe you don't have enough eggs to add to it to thicken it up again. You can let it sit out a little bit, and some of the moisture will evaporate off, and it'll, you know, help to dry it out some. And so that's something else you could do. This is your recipe, guys, so you can't mess it up. You make it to your liking, okay? Now, the next thing we're going to do is we're going to put a little salt and pepper. Did you hear my my little accent come out there, my little Memphis accent? Okay, a little salt, a little pepper. Don't worry, I'm going to tell you exactly how much I use of everything. So, I know how much I'm using because I have probably been making deviled eggs. Let's see, I'm 49. I've probably been making deviled eggs for 40 years. So, oh yeah, I started early because I used to love them when I was growing up. And sometimes my mom didn't feel like making them. So, she got smart on me and taught me how to do it. So, there you go. Okay. We're almost finished, guys. So, let's see what we got. Oh, yeah. That tastes yummy. Okay. Now, have you ever been to somebody's house and they made deviled eggs and they were super bitter because maybe they didn't have enough whipped topping in it, or maybe they didn't have any sweet relish in it, or they put too much mustard in it, whatever. If that happens to you, just put a dab of sugar in it, guys, and that'll take care of any bitterness that you have. I don't need to do that because I've used the whipped dressing, and again, it has a higher sugar content than, say, mayonnaise, and so I am happy with the taste that I have here. So, guys, believe it or not, we are almost finished with this. So, here's what we're going to do next. We have our filling. I got another 75-cent plate. I think it was 75 cents. I'm pretty sure it was. Okay. So, we're going to grab our half of the egg white. Guys, we're going to put a little bit of paprika on it. Paprika does a couple of things. It's really pretty. It's got a mild smoky flavor to it. And so that's it. You're done. Now, if you like, you can put a little bit of parsley on it for color. Let me show you what that'll look like. Now, do I tend to put parsley on it? No. But if you want, you can. See how pretty that is? And so we're just going to continue that process until we are done, guys.